I'm Mark, and I'm half-ass ready.
All right, y'all. I'm sure you know it's hurricane season. I never thought that I would have to do a hurricane preparedness video from here in the beautiful mountains of Western North Carolina. Last September, my wife and I learned a valuable lesson. Western North Carolina learned a valuable lesson. So we're going to call it hurricane preparedness because it's hurricane season. But it's quite apparent from Texas and Western North Carolina and now Central North Carolina, um, weather can affect you in an adverse way. And I just want to talk about being prepared for that. I got a couple of simple points. I'll talk about a few things. I'm trying to keep my videos shorter, so try not to go down too many rabbit holes. But this is a subject that I've become pretty passionate about. So, rule number one is make a plan. Okay, I have notes, so I'm going to try to keep myself on target. But make a plan. Uh, stop. Take a minute. I mean, a serious minute. Not. Uh, no, don't take a minute. Take an hour. Okay, take an hour. Stop and seriously think about your situation. You know, everybody's home's different. Some people's homes are on a hill, some people's homes are in a valley, some people's homes have a huge river beside them, some have a lake, some have a creek. Your topography is your topography, okay? But take a minute and look at it, okay? And then, historically, look, if you've just moved into an area, um, take some time to talk to one of your neighbors who's been there a minute. Historically, where does it flood? How does weather affect this neighborhood? Find out about snow while you're at it too. We don't have to just talk about hurricanes and rain. We can talk about snow. But and I guess my biggest point to you, look, when you move into a town or you live in a town, you know the bad parts of town. You know the parts of town where you're not comfortable being, right? Well, know the low spots around you. Know the spots that are dangerous around you. Know the spots that you need to be aware of, even in just a minor rain event. I mean, there are probably places in your neighborhood that flood every time it rains, right? A little bit of rain, whole lot of rain, it floods. Maybe it don't stay flooded long, but it floods. Okay, so uh, know the low spots, right? Um, just like you would if you were going to town, right? So here's the situation. Okay, the generally when a hurricane, tornado, blizzard, straight line wind, whatever you want to call it, comes through your area, the power goes out, right? Um, that happened to us in September of last year. Yeah, the power went out, um, and it stayed out for 15 days. Okay, so the power's out. All right, so when the power's out, there's two situations, right? It's a short-term outage or it's a long-term outage. Short to you, long to me, it's our perspective, right? What a long-term situation is. Maybe tomorrow I'll do a video on power outage. How we prepare for power outage, but you know your situation, you know what you have, you know what you don't have. So when the power's out, first of all, what are you going to do? You don't have to have power to survive, okay? We survived on this planet for a long time without electricity, but you have to be prepared for that, okay? So I'm just telling you, make the plan and then act on the plan, okay? If you need power, if you have to have power, you need to take steps to put power at your house when the utility company isn't providing it, okay? Generator, uh, gas, solar, diesel, propane, wind. If you have to be able to generate electricity for you if you have to have electricity, but act on your plan. Okay. Um, Up to question mark days. Okay. Look, for years we've planned on the FEMA plan of 3 days, and the government's going to ride on their white horse with their white hat and their silver bullets, and they're going to save you. Don't bank on that. Okay. Just don't bank on that. And another thing we found out here, communication is important to us, especially nowadays. We can instantaneously pick up, well, right now it's a camera, but we can pick up our cell phone and contact the people we love anytime we want to, right? We found out here in September during Helene that we couldn't do that anymore, right? You were lucky to get a text out. Very lucky, actually, to get a text out. So, okay, outgoing communication, incoming communication from your loved ones is important, but communication, just trying to find out the situation that's going on around you. Get yourself an AM radio and get one that's powered by batteries. I have one that has the hand crank and the solar power thing and all that. Get one with some AAA batteries. Get a transistor radio that picks up AM or FM and put it in your home. They're cheap, right? $9 or $10. I'm just telling you. Get on Amazon and get you one. It's hurricane season. You need an AM FM radio, okay? I'm not talking about shortwave, GMRS. Get yourself a damn AM radio. Look, there were people here whose sole communication to the outside world was an AM radio. Okay, our radio station did a fantastic job staying on the air through Hurricane Helene, and it was refreshing just to know that it didn't just suck for me; it sucked for everybody. And then there was information coming in that we needed. Okay, so get an AM radio. But this is your plan for your location. So, live by the rule of threes. You've heard me talk about this before. The rule of threes. You can go 3 minutes without air. Okay. You can go 3 hours without shelter. I get a lot of flack about that one, but it's true. You can go 3 days without water. You can go 3 weeks without food. So live your life by the rule of threes. Right. 15 days is 2 weeks. So 2 weeks without power, but so the important things to remember when you're making this plan: water is important, not just for food and making coffee. You need water to do sanitation things, right? You need water to flush your toilets if your toilets aren't flushing. If you have a septic system, you can flush your toilet by pouring water in the back of the tank. But you need buckets. And you need a place to get that water. Think about it. Look, I don't feel like, I know a lot of y'all might tune in for me to tell you what to do, but I really want you to think about what you need to do. And you know your place better than me. Where are you going to find that water to flush your toilet with? Okay? Because it takes a lot more water to flush your toilets and wash your hands and wash your dishes than it does just to prepare your coffee. Okay? So water's important, probably number one. I would think number one, even in front of power for me, would be water. Power for me means water. So power's important too. But power and water are two first things. And then food prep. Look, most people have a couple of 3 or 4 days worth of food in their house, but you have a way to heat it up. It sucks eating cold MREs, okay, or cold beans out of a can. Have a way to heat it up. Think about that. Look at my videos on basic home preparedness. There's ways you can heat up a can of beans, okay? Or boil a cup of water. Check that out. Communication. Your AM radio for incoming. Make sure you have a way to keep your cell phones charged so that when you do get that opportunity to send that text or make that phone call, you can, okay? Don't forget about your medications, and don't forget about your animals, okay? Don't forget about your dog and your cat and your bird and your turtle and your fish. Don't forget about them. You know, keep a little extra for them. So, and look, the weather events, eventually things are going to get where you can get gasoline or get out. But, you know, think about the fact that you can call 911. Here, in fact, at one point we couldn't call, we had to text 911. But you can call 911, but they may not be able to get to you. Okay, you're not on fire, you're not underwater, you're not dying. So they're not. You're moving down on the priority list. Okay, but think about you not being able to get to the grocery store, even if the grocery store is open. Okay, maybe the roads are out, maybe the bridge is washed out, maybe the roads are underwater. Maybe, and in our case here, some roads were just gone, and they're still not back. So, I'm just, I'm not trying to be doomsday here, but you think about that, because that could be the situation. You could not be able to get where you need to be. Okay, so what are you going to do if you can't get where you want to go? Make it where you don't have to be there, right? Make it where you don't have to go get in the line of relief supplies, where you don't have to stand in line to get a box of MREs that, you know, some people argue I'm not a big fan. Look, I'll eat them, they're food, but they don't taste good, right? Have tasty meals in your home. Take some time. Think about what you would do. But I saved this for last because thank God this did not happen to us. And it happened to so many people here in West North Carolina, and it happened to so many people in Texas, and it happens every year in Florida and South Carolina when these hurricanes hit. Think about the fact that you may not have a place to shelter in, okay? Maybe your home is destroyed. Maybe you have to leave. So where are you going to go? Make that plan. You know, think about that. That's a hard thought to think. It's hard to think about losing everything you got. But maybe you don't lose everything you got. Maybe your house just isn't livable. Maybe there's a big hole in the roof and it's still pouring down rain and you have to get out. So that should be part of your plan, okay? Where are you going to go? How are you going to get there? What are you going to take with you? How much time are you going to have to take what you want to take with you, right? So you know you're not going to have a whole lot of time. There's a damn hurricane coming down on your house, right? So the old go bag thing. Have your go bag ready. Have a plan of what's important to you that you need to take. And remember, your survival is the most important thing. Your memories are in here, right? Take this to a safe place. Let's get this to a safe place. And don't panic, right? I know I looked out my window several times and I felt the terror and the panic creeping in, right? But you have to hold that back. You have to think clearly and keep between your ears clear, because this is what's going to save you, what's between your ears. Not going to bore you anymore. Just I wanted to get this video out. I've been thinking about it since hurricane season started, and the situation in Texas has really got me moving forward on it. But I know, you know, we've stepped up our game a little bit here lately. You get a little stagnant sometimes when you're a prepper, and sometimes you need a little boot to get back in the game. So thank you for tuning in. Hopefully I'll see you again real soon.